What's up, NBA squad? It's your girl Tiara on the Madam Boss Lady channel, and today we are talking 360 lipo. That's right, I've been dying to get this story out. This is my experience on my 360 lipo. So if you are new to this channel, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell for future videos. And if you are returning, welcome back. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I decided to go to Miami to get me a 360 because I got some projects I want to do this summer, and your girl had to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to tell y'all my experience, good, bad, and indifferent, because it wasn't all gravy. But yeah, y'all got to hear this. So I have a really good friend who went down a couple of months back, and she had the mommy makeover, and she had really, really good results. She had nothing but good things to say. Of course, she vetted her doctor and passed the number on to me. So I ended up a few months later booking my consultation. Shortly after this consultation, I ended up making an appointment to go about a little over a month later. So I booked an appointment for a Lipo360, and I was pretty scared. I was really nervous. I mean, you hear all these horror stories of people going to different places and really not being able to make it out. I'm not sure why, of course, but you almost have to be in pretty good health in order to get any type of surgery like this. And I'm in pretty good health. Still really nervous, and I kicked it around a little bit, and I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead. And mind you, this was only like a month and a half. I'm gonna say like a month and a half, 2 months tops, that I was really just like serious about it. Let me do this consultation, and yeah, I'm gonna go for it. 2 months. Look at some videos and do a little more research on some of the terminology that I'm hearing people say, but I really don't understand, and you know, this, that, and the other. And to be honest, I won't say that I fully understood it when I went, but it was real clear to me when I got there. When I got down there, I came in on a Sunday. My surgery was supposed to be the next day, and I was supposed to go and see a cardiologist because of my short notice to them. I didn't have enough time to book a cardiologist. I don't know if you know that a cardiologist takes time to get to. Unless you have an emergency, you will not be able to book that for next week. So I explained this to the clinic, and they were like, oh, okay, let us get it together for you. It's going to be a fee, of course, but yeah. So I was like, okay, I know for a fact that I don't have any heart issues, never had any heart issues. I did not expect this to come back in any kind of bad way, but if it did, I just figured, okay, this is a vacation. So when I go and see this cardiologist, he is telling me, you know, there's a little something going on here, and I say, listen, I ain't dying for this. I'm cool right now. So if this is something that's going to hinder my surgery, tell me now, because we can cancel. I am not that hard pressed at all. He started laughing and was like, no, it's not like it's not like that. I'm just giving you the information that I have, and it wasn't anything bad, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So surgery's still on. So I chose not to do a recovery house. I ended up booking a hotel, and I traveled with someone who stayed with me in the hotel, and yeah, I decided to go that route. I was not familiar with the recovery homes. I couldn't go and view it beforehand. So yeah, no. So from what I understand, they kind of work with certain recovery homes. This particular clinic did. And they were giving me suggestions and all that other stuff. And I was like, nah, I won't do that. So I go to the clinic and have my first in-person consultation, clear up all of our paperwork, read through this novel. I read through the novel. It took me a long time. I read through the novel, and basically what it's saying to you is that, yeah, we're not responsible for nothing. Again, the only reason why I really did it is because I know that I'm in good health. I really felt like there was not going to be an issue, and thank God it wasn't, because here I am talking to you right now. So they have you, the day of the surgery, they have you come in. You should have already spent 2 days washing up with this antibacterial soap and XYZ, blah, blah, blah. So you go in, and I'm going to tell y'all, listen, I was spooked. I really did not expect to see that mmany people. Now, I'm not really here to count nobody's money or nothing, but that clinic had to be making a couple $100,000 a day. That's the part I really did not like. Like, I was almost ready. Listen, it was so many people there. Are we at a concert? Like, it was a lot of people there. And I'm thinking, is everybody having surgery today? Like, what the heck is it so many people here for? Now, I will admit some of the people had already had their work done and they're just coming back to get checkups. And some of the people were having their surgeries that day. But to be honest, it was a lot of traffic and I was very uncomfortable. I feel like it was unorganized. I feel like, yeah, it was not good to me. Like, I just thought it was unorganized. You think when you say clinic that is gonna be clinical. It really reminded me of a licensed branch or something. Like, it was so unorganized, but it was clean, and I can respect the fact that it was clean and it looked like a clinic, but it was just way too many people for me. My second biggest issue was they were in a hurry up and wait status. So they would tell you to come at 9 o'clock, but they have no intentions of dealing with you until 11 o'clock. Well, I don't have that kind of time to be sitting around looking at everybody doing absolutely. I was like, oh no. So the first day or two, I can hear y'all saying come at 9, and then I know I'm gonna be there till 2. After that, I was just like, yeah, I'm not. Because when you book, you are required to stay there for like 5 days, or well, at least 5 days, so that they can make sure everything's good. And that's the one thing I do like about it. So they were really thorough with making sure that they did check you out and make sure that everything, was still going as planned, that you didn't get any infections and, or whatnot. So you were required to come back every day for 5 days. And I like that part about it. However, your timing, nobody has time to stand around and do nothing. Y'all had to do better. So I'm gonna give them a low rating on that. Like, I feel like they could have been a lot more organized. And yeah, I was already hyped thinking, okay, is this where I'm supposed to be? And then it was made worse by sitting up waiting. Like, then you seeing people kind of, because some people had their surgeries already. So you see them coming in and it's just like, dang, they look like they're in a lot of pain, even though they give you pain meds. It's like, ooh, I don't know if I want I don't know if I want to do this. And you quickly change your mind when you see some of these bodies. Now, I'm not a fan of the super big booty, especially when you packing it on and you got skinny legs and all that other stuff. Y'all already know what the woes are. And some of those people, I'm just like, why are you doing this? It just looks unnatural sometimes. And I had a problem with that, but it ain't my problem. I'm just thinking, how can you stop staring at these people? You stare at them because it's like, why is your booty so big? Oh, I found myself as I was waiting, just kind of staring at booties all day. I thought it was crazy. But I do realize everybody was there for a reason. So no judgment. I just thought, wow, your booty big. So after waiting all this time, getting all my paperwork done, I left and, enjoyed my last little night without any complications, because the next day I'm supposed to have this surgery. And I'm like, okay. They tell you to come in at like 9 in the morning for this surgery. So you go to a different floor than when you've seen these hundreds of thousands of people, and it's only like maybe 10 people. And just by talking to different people, I realized that everybody has a different doctor, and they're scheduling these people for every hour or two. Well, the 360 doesn't take a long time from what I understood, because, it was one of the least time consuming surgeries. So that's all I got. So I figured I'd be in and out, which I really was. So I can imagine that that's what other people were getting or were doing. So it seemed like it was a lot of people, but I guess if each person had a different doctor, that would be the explanation as to why it was only like 10 people on that floor for the surgery. So I go in and I meet the doctor, and, he's explaining to me what's going to go on. And he's just asking me what I want. And I explain to him what I want. He's like, okay, gotcha. And I thought I was supposed to meet with him again, but no, I was headed into the surgery room, out of the consultation room. And then I go into the waiting room for a few more minutes until it was my turn. And a lot of times when you go to these different clinics down in Miami, they don't really speak English. So they have you put on these gowns or whatever, and then they put your stuff in the locker, blah, blah, blah. It's all good, because you're supposed to have the key with you, but really, if you're on a table, your key ain't with you. As I was waiting, I kind of was thinking, darn, I'm sitting here about to get 360 lipo. And ironically, I really wasn't that nervous. Like, it was, to me, I just felt like I went through the cardiologist. I already know that my health is pretty good. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be, because I'm listening to these horror stories and I'm thinking, what are you doing? I told myself if I did get nervous, I'll just walk out, lose my little money, or wait till another time when I'm not nervous. I really had a game plan to say if this became an issue for my mental, I was not going to do it. But really, it really wasn't a problem. I came to the conclusion that this is cool. It was settled in my head. I didn't feel like I had to walk out. So I went ahead and did it. So here is where the story gets a little sketch. So I come out of the surgery room and there is no recovery room. Oh, you heard me. There's no recovery room. So I'm in the elevator when I finally realized what's going on. I'm in the elevator. I have my robe on and I'm just really feeling like a freight train hit me. Oh my God. And to be 100% transparent, it really wasn't a whole lot of pain. It was more like pressure and stiffness. So I wasn't really hurting, but it definitely didn't feel like myself. And because I got Lipo360, this means everything in the front, the sides, in the back, my abdomen, my back, all that is stiff. So it's not like you can just lift up because you need your stomach muscles to lift up and you can't do that. So you need help getting in your car. It was one of the weirdest feelings ever because you use your abdominal muscles every day. You use your back muscles every day and they were definitely inoperable. You wasn't using them like you couldn't. My anesthesia's wearing off. And again, I don't feel what you would consider pain. This is more or less like, it was just a weird feeling. It felt like I had a weight belt. You know how guys work out with the weight belt? Well, girls too. Work out with the weight belt around them. That's exactly how it feels like. It's like you cannot bend over. You cannot, like, you're restricted. Because I'm coming out of this anesthesia, it's just like I'm trying to figure, okay, where am I at? What's going on? You know, I'm trying to gain my footing around here. And so we had prescriptions to go and get the pain medication just in case I needed it, because I would have thought I needed it. Surprise. You cannot find Percocet in Miami. I think we might have went to 5 or 6 different pharmacies, name brand, no name brand. It didn't matter. They did not have Percocet. So we're going from one place to the other and I'm trying to get comfortable because I'm feeling I just was trying to figure everything out. It was just weird, y'all. I'm telling you, it was so weird. It's hard to describe. It wasn't so uncomfortable that I was, feeling some kind of way. It was just something that you are not used to. It's something that you have to get used to because you cannot use your muscles like that. I was going to try to figure out a way to describe this to you, but the only thing I came up with is a really tight weight belt around your waist. You're restricted. So at the time, I would say, this is directly after surgery, probably half an hour after surgery, I would say that my pain level was probably like a 5 or a 6, meaning that the highest pain would have been a 10. Feel like my threshold for pain is kind of average, so that's about where I was. I wasn't overwhelmed or anything like that. It was the draining for me. Like, it was so much blood. Before I went, about that month when I really decided I was going to go and I was putting my deposit down, I started taking Floridix, which is a mixture of B2, iron, like you got to look it up, Floridix. And this built my iron or my blood up quite a bit because it's pretty concentrated. And I'm not sure if you realize that when they do these lipo surgeries, they are putting in a fluid that gets rid of the fat as well as sucking out the fat. So when I say so much blood, it's like blood mixed with whatever this fluid is that they're using to do this surgery. Nonetheless, y'all, it was a lot. And I was at the point where I was like, yeah, this is a lot. So we were at our the 5th or the 6th pharmacy when I start getting lightheaded. Like, I'm seeing bright lights. Now, Miami is pretty bright. It's sunny, all that other good stuff. But no, I'm seeing bright lights. The person I went with was already in the store, trying to see if they can get this prescription filled. But in reality, I'm like, I think I'm going to pass out. I was actually on a phone call with somebody. And I was just like, wait a minute, I'm feeling kind of lightheaded. And they were like, really? What's going on? And I'm like, yeah, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, okay, are you going to be okay? And I was like, I really don't know. But what I'm about to do is get off the phone with you so I can call this ride and be like, we might have to make a short trip to the hospital. So I'm feeling lightheaded. I get about 2 or 3 swirls and I'm like, yeah, something's not right. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to figure this one out. So I got off the phone with the person I was talking to And this other person came out of the pharmacy like right then and there. And I go, listen, we got to go to a hospital. They like, really? I'm like, yes, this does not feel right. I'm not going to be able to do it. The nearest hospital. So I Googled the nearest hospital and put it in a GPS. We got to go. Now, I'm not going to front like I wasn't scared, because your girl don't lose consciousness that often at all. And I'm like, wait 1 minute. I really am seeing bright lights around here. Get me. Like I was, headed there. So when we pulled up at the hospital, they go out and get somebody to come out and get me. It's like about 6 or 7 minutes from the time I started feeling lightheaded. We got there probably about 8 minutes, from the time I originally started feeling lightheaded. And I'm really not feeling too terrible. It's just that I wasn't happy with seeing bright lights. Like I was really nervous about that, because I don't do that on a regular basis. If you see bright lights, you're going to be like, okay, something's wrong. So we ended up at the hospital, and someone came out to get me in this wheelchair. The person who comes out and gets me, they're helping me up, and they're asking me what's wrong and this, that, and the other. But as I get up, oh, I'm not even trying to be funny. There was so much fluid in this car. My robe was completely soaked with this fluid. It was soaked. But it did not get in the car. These bed pads that you are supposed to have when you have this surgery, because you are not leaving with the 360. I don't know what they do with the BBLs and the tummy tucks and mommy make, all that stuff. But with the 360, I left with no drain plugs. So they're just incisions. So every little step I make, I'm draining. So yeah, it was everywhere. Thank God that the pads were really, really big, and I'm so glad that they were smart enough to put them down, because it was all bad, y'all. And so as I get in this wheelchair, which was a really nifty kind of wheelchair, it's not the one that you sit in. It's one that you kind of look like you standing up a little bit. I don't know. They new to me. I'm not from Miami, but I've never seen a wheelchair like this. It was like you're standing up as they're wheeling you. It was really kind of neat. that was really nice. But yeah, so as I go into the waiting room, the guy who brought me in, he was like, yeah, he went to tell the person that I had this surgery and this, that, and other. They were trying to admit me. So they were trying to get my information. But by the time, the minute and a half that I was in there was fluid everywhere. I'm talking about on the floor, on this chair or wheelchair or whatever. And as they move me along, it's just like a trail of fluid. At this point is only when I realized just how much fluid it is, because I was only in there like a minute and a half, like not very long, where they just took me back. And when they took me back, it was just literally like, people were like, oh my God. Like it looked like I might have had a gunshot. Like I might have had a gunshot wound or something. They was like, where are the holes at? And I was like, it was a surgery. So yeah, because they didn't know what happened. And it's Miami. It could have been a gunshot. The person I was with was trying to explain to them that this was a surgery. And I was just like, I wasn't too weak. It was just like, I was kind of weak. Yeah. So I was just like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, so we ended up going into the ER to not really even get patched up, because they didn't really patch you up. The drain hose are supposed to be there. But what was going on is that I lost way too much blood. And because my iron is already low and my blood levels are already low, that was a problem. And these are the things that I say that we are deceiving the people who are doing these surgeries. I knew my blood levels were low, and so by the time I left Indianapolis, my levels were high, like 13, 14, whatever. The levels were normal. But because this was so much fluid, it dropped pretty fast. And I was struggling with losing too much blood. So I get them the information that they need. Of course, they're running my insurance, and they realize that, I'm good or whatnot. But what I do want to say to the people who may be having this surgery done, or may have something done that's a cosmetic or plastic surgery, I need you all to understand that if you need to show up at the ER, do not hesitate to go to the ER. Don't try to thug it out, because I think I would have been gone that night simply because my blood pressure was so low. I don't have no problems yeah, this is a issue. I got to go ahead and get this handled. So I think a lot of times people are too proud, or they really don't have insurance. I'm not even sure why people try to risk it. I knew something was wrong and I went to the ER, and I suggest you do the same if you're having issues. Do not be a statistic and get caught up in not making it through because you want to be stubborn, or that bill's going to be high, or whatever you might think. Don't let that worry you. You already spent this money on this procedure, so you'll find the money to pay for the insurance bill. So I'm strongly encouraging people not to get caught up in the trap of, I don't want to blow no money by going to the hospital, because if you need service, please go get your service. I'm going to attach some pictures from before and some pictures after that first week, because I really am happy about my results so far, because I'm not completely healed. You know, that takes up to a year sometimes, and I don't think people really realize that it takes up to a year to heal. And you might think that you're A1, and I kind of feel that way too, but really you're still healing. So I have a lot of swelling still. I'm experiencing, like, I actually feel good, but I'm experiencing things that I had not anticipated. Okay, I'm gonna cut in real quick to show you these pictures of before. These are my before pictures, and this is with me in regular clothes. You can kind of see the bulge. And then these pictures coming up are pictures of me before, about a month and a half before my surgery. Yes, you can't really tell why I have on clothes, but look at the back fat, baby. Look at the back. She needed it. This is after surgery, about 2 weeks after surgery. And this picture here is 2 weeks, like a week and a half, 2 weeks after surgery. As you can see, there's no back fat, no belly rolls, none of that. So yeah, a lot of people who I was explaining that I had this done, they don't believe it, but yeah. So there's still a lot of swelling going on. Being able to bend over and tie your shoe seems so elementary. Nobody ever talks about it. Please know that that is going to be a problem. Any bending is going to be a problem. And I understand that people think, oh, I'm going to have this surgery and I can be back to normal in a couple of weeks. No, ma'am, you will not. And I know that there's people who are like entertainers or performers, like say, for instance, the stripper. You think that you can go and have this procedure done and be back on the pole in a little bit. Now, I'm sure that some people can in like a month or so, but definitely would be at least 2 months, you know, I'm sure, because this is really taxing on your body. And this was one of the misconceptions that I was under. I didn't realize exactly what was going on as far as my immobility and as far as my restrictions. I had not even thought about it. So that's kind of what this video is for, to kind of go with the ins and the outs of what you thought you know or what you didn't know, or I don't know. I'm just giving you information that you didn't think about. A lot of times we do these surgeries and we're thinking, okay, I'm going to get snatched and I'm going to be right back. No. When you do these type of procedures, you need to be thinking about changing your entire way of eating, your entire way of looking. You know, it's a thing. Like, you're going to look great, hopefully, if you don't get botched or whatever. But in the groups that I'm in Facebook, a lot of people say, oh, I don't see the results, or yeah. And the first thing I say is, are you drinking your water? Now, I ended up doing the massages. I allowed like $1,000 for my massages, and I got my massages. But I've been hearing people say that, oh, that's just a hoax. You don't have to get massages. They work for me, because I was not comfortable until I got the massages. You will literally be walking like a turtle for at least 2 weeks. You're going to have to walk carefully. You're not even going to feel your stomach muscles for at least 2 weeks. Like they're just not there. You have to understand that they're just not there for you. They're not. So you think, okay, I can just jump up and move around. No, you're going to be moving kind of slow for at least 2 weeks. At least I was. Now everybody's different. I'm giving you my real life story. I thought I was Superwoman, and no, you're just super sitting down in this bed, because no, baby, you can't move. I was sucking down water like it was going out of style, because I'm dehydrated and I'm really, really needing this fluid. It was amazing. I just never thought in a million years that I would need to drink this much water. And whatever you do, make sure you get these bed pads, or whatever they're calling them. They are dire to your recovery. They're dire. You will have fluid everywhere if you don't get them. Now, even though I had open incisions or whatnot, I didn't have drain plugs, I still only use like 1 pack. And that's really good. I had more than 1 pack and I was prepared, but I really only just used 1 pack. And I was being very stingy with them. So I wasn't changing them every hour because it didn't need all that. But you'll judge it by what your incisions are doing, at, you know, what surgery you have. But I did a 360 and I definitely needed these pads. And even though it was hard to find the Percocets and the antibiotic, we did end up getting them, and it was a hard find. So if you have the luxury of having them send it to you beforehand, do that in whatever city that you're in, because I'm telling you now, you're not going to find it in Miami. There is a huge shortage of Percocet in Miami. So I'm going to end this video right now because of course it has started raining on me. What? So I'm going to end this video because I know y'all don't like long videos, and I'm not about to get dragged about no long videos. I know y'all don't like them. So I will pick back up and let you know my stories on my Lipo360. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and share this video with someone else so that they can have this information as well. And you will see me in the next video. Bye.